AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you, Mails in studio.
Yes, sir.
Got George Braun on the line. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. How are you guys doing today?
Well, we're trying to keep up with everything going on. I think I need to hire staff.
Yeah. Well, hire. I mean, I'd like to talk about my paycheck.
Well, we can all you want, but hey, I got another call coming in. I'm sure this is your guest. Let me hold on a second. You're on the air.
Hi, I'm not the guest, so I got to say goodbye, huh?
Say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, we hung up on him, George.
Okay. Well, he'll call again.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of the things is that, by the way, who the heck took students and parents to Afghanistan for the summer? I mean,
you did. They did. Oh, these are exchange students.
That goes down in history with the teacher who bunch of kids into the caves in Indonesia before the tide came in.
That's right. Hey, George, you have a caller. Good morning.
Hang on, is he there?
He is.
I'm here.
Okay, well, Biden says he's going to hunt down the terrorists. The last person he hunted down and caught was the Good Humor Man. I mean, this is unbelievable. We got right now the biggest gun show loophole you ever saw. Crazy Abdul's out there. We got it all. You want an RPG? You want an M16? Hell, you want a Black Hawk helicopter? We got them. Come on down. No background check. This is just interesting as hell. And you've been around D.C. longer than most, but am I missing something, or do we hear that there's going to be a big, giant hostage crisis like what Jimmy Carter had coming up? David?
I think it's already there. I mean, you got the President of the United States now saying he's going to remember, we're going to hunt these people down. He's not intending from anything anybody can see to do anything other than continue to get what he can out of there and then leave the rest alone. The U.S. government is responsible. The President of the United States is responsible. And they're talking about who set off the bomb that killed these Americans and all of these friendly Afghans, pointing fingers this way and that way. Is this group associated with those? Did the Taliban do it, or did the Taliban approve it? The fact of the matter is that those 13 Americans died because of decisions, conscious decisions or unconscious decisions, made by the President of the United States. He's the person, Joe Biden, who's responsible for the death of those 13 soldiers and is going to be responsible and be held responsible by history for the death of thousands of friendly Afghans. The idea, George, that the United States government turned over to the Taliban a list of the names and contact information of Afghans who had worked with us because we thought the Taliban would help us get them out is crazy and criminal. And that's what this administration has done. They have sentenced people who had the courage to work with us to death, and they've done it without really caring about what they were doing.
Yeah, David.
A lot of us were around when Saigon fell, and for the evacuation by helicopter from the embassy and all of that, and watched the consequences of what happened there on world opinion about the United States, and indeed about the morale within the United States in terms of being able to stand up for our interests around the world. It took some years to overcome that. This is worse, much, much worse than that, because we know what's going to happen to those people. And the idea, as the president said and as his spokesperson said several times beforehand, we're going to get anybody out who wants to get out, was just a lie. Because they didn't make any arrangements. They closed the only airfield that could be secured where you could get people out, and condemned thousands of people to death. That's what they did. And anybody who puts any other kind of picture, or paints any other picture of what happened, doesn't know what they're talking about.
David, you penned a strong argument and a strong picture. Why am I not hearing more of that from mainstream media? We still have people putting lipstick all over Biden and Harris, and it doesn't seem to end regardless of what we've done.
Well, there are so many people in the tank for this guy, so many people that invested so much in him, so many people that are fearful that the agenda that they support might not make it through the Congress, and he might not be able to implement the changes that they want, that they're willing to do almost anything to defend him. But that's breaking down, and it's going to continue to break down because the American people see what's happening. What's worse in some ways is that the world sees what's happening. And the Europeans and our other allies pleaded with him to have a plan, to have a staged withdrawal, so we could get our friends out and protect the lives of our own men and women, and he rejected that. And then he said, "Oh, they all support what I'm doing," which was never true. And he just pulled the plug and abandoned everything. And if you picture it this way, if you were in another country and the United States was looking for help, and you knew what had happened recently in Afghanistan, would you work with us?
No.
In any country where there were terrorists or where there was a regime that was anti-American, would you be willing to allow your name to appear someplace that would list you as a friend of the United States? It could be a death sentence, and it's not going to happen.
Well, and that's a key word. Would I allow my name? No. Because
the picture a week ago of Afghans who had worked with us as translators and others burning the papers, trying to erase any connection they had with us, because the very papers that we said they would need to get out by showing them told you how much faith they had in us, told you that they thought it was better for them to go underground and hide than to depend on the people who had promised them safety.
You know, you talk about world opinion after Saigon. It took years.
That's exactly right. And this makes Saigon look like a garden party.
I can't imagine it's taking less than a generation or two.
I'm sure it will. If you go down the thing, you got the President of the United States who fecklessly decides to just, turn off the lights, close the switch, close the airport, get the hell out, without any thought about of our own people or anybody else that's there. You've got the military that allows billions of dollars worth of arms to fall into the hands of terrorists without any attempt to destroy them or secure them. You've got an intelligence service and a military leadership that said, "Oh, this wasn't going to happen." If in fact we were as surprised as we apparently were by what happened there in Afghanistan, then the whole military and intelligence operation need to be totally reformed. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff has made a fool of himself on television, and with his statements, the President of the United States has, and the entire military establishment and our defense establishment now looks foolish and weak to the entire world. And there's no other way to paint this picture, because that's what has happened and is happening. And it's going to get worse, and the American people see that. This country, and George, if you go back, this has nothing to do about whether it was wise to decide you wanted to turn Afghanistan into some kind of a Western democracy. That was a crazy idea, but you could be for or against our being in there in the way that we were. That doesn't go to the question of the way in which they botched the end game. So what happens is that the Taliban can now claim, and you see these pictures of them riding around in Black Hawk helicopters celebrating, claim that they beat two of the greatest powers on earth, the Soviet Union earlier and the United States now. And these are people that are not. This is not simply a regional battle for them to have a secure country. This wasn't that kind of a struggle. These are people who want to export the terror that they train on there to the rest of the world, and this is going to become a problem that we're going to have to deal with for 20 or 30 years.
But we already see ISIS coming in. From what I understand, the Chechens are coming in. Pretty much everybody. because
well,
of
you
the
notice
fact
the Russians,
that there's piles,
as
there's
soon as
piles
it began,
of cash.
started massing troops near the border because of course, Russia has the largest Muslim population of any of the border areas, and they've been having trouble with the Chechens for as long as they've been there. And however you feel about the way they've treated them, that's a signal of what they know is going to happen in the region. That this terrorism that's going to be based in Afghanistan is going to expand and is going to target other countries in the area.
Now,
you're going to see, but you're seeing pretty much every kind of terrorist that can get to Afghanistan right now.
Of course,
because there's money to be given, there's arms, and Crazy Abdul's they're selling everything, and the prices that are coming down, and we're going to see RPGs, we're going to see fully automatic weapons getting into countries everywhere. And look at our southern border. You can walk across the border with pretty much anything you wanted right now because the cartels own it all. We've just armed the cartels.
Those consequences are predictably real. But even aside from that, the way in which this was handled puts a black mark on the United States that we will not be able to erase for perhaps decades, regardless of the consequences going forward. No one needs fears. Look at the way the Chinese communists, for example, have said, aha, this means we can't invade Taiwan because these Americans would not come to anybody's aid. They're not interested in anything. This is a country that should be ashamed of itself and should be ashamed of its presidents. Bob Novak used to say you should love your country, but should be very critical of your government. And this is a government that needs to be removed as the next elections come up, because this is a government that has shamed itself, has shamed the American people, and has shamed the country in a way that's almost unimaginable, because it was done. It didn't have to happen this way.
No.
And Joe Biden says, well, yeah, I don't know how we could have done it any other way. Anybody on the street could have told you how to do it in any other way. This is the idea that you would just abandon your people, and then to announce that, well, we were turning intelligence over to the Taliban because we both have the same goal, and that's to get the people that are anti-Taliban out. That is not the goal of the people that took over in Afghanistan.